You guys are all set?
All set. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So welcome to the Rules and Procedures meeting. Today is May 27th, 2025, and the time is 7 p.m. The Rules and Procedure meeting is being recorded. You can go to the Town of Bridgewater's webpage for the link. I'll call to order the Rules and Procedures Committee of the Bridgewater Town Council. For the record, we have committee members Sean Kennedy, Mark Lindy, and I am Mary McGrath. So we have a quorum. We can't do minutes because none of us were on the last committee, so there's no minutes. So I guess we'll start with public comments. Does anyone have a public comment? You see anybody?
Tina, do you have comment?
Yes, I'd like to speak when you guys do Article C. Do you want me to do it now or wait till then?
Madam Chair, can I make a motion to move this out of order and do Article C first?
Well, thank you, Mark.
That's fine with me.
Seconded.
All right. Let's see. So that's the election one.
Correct.
All right. All right. So I guess I should take a roll call. Sean Kennedy?
Here.
Mark?
Here?
And Mary, I say yes. All right. So go ahead, Tina, if you want me to, I'll bring it up and then you can talk about it. We'll suspend the rules because usually, or do you want to make a comment and then we'll go into it?
No, go ahead and present it so everyone knows what we're talking about.
Okay. And then we'll just have to suspend the rules and let you speak during the.
Thanks.
All right. So it's proposed ordinance D FY 25016, Bridgewater Town Charter, Article 3. Oh, no, that's not it. Wait a minute. It's the election one. Sorry. I had them in order. Oh, here it is. Sorry. All right, we'll start over. Proposed ordinance DFY 25017, proposed amendment to Part 2, Administrative Code, Chapter 60, Article 1, Section 1, Elections. So John Lee Reddy is the sponsor, and he wanted to change this from, it says right now in our charter, at a special town election, the polls may be open no earlier than 7 o'clock a.m., no later than 12 noon, and may remain opening no later than 8 o'clock in the evening. So his proposed amendment is, this amendment will ensure that all elections held in the town of Bridgewater, whether annual town elections, special town elections, or state elections, will have a uniform polling hours from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., eliminating any different voting hours. So who would like to make a suspend the rule to let Tina talk?
Thought I did that already.
No, we just moved it out of order.
Okay, so
Now
I'll
we
make
have
the
to-
motion to suspend the rules.
Seconded.
Second. So I'll take a roll call. Mark,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
and Mary, yes. Go ahead, Tina, you got the floor.
All right, so it appears that the elections for the town are being asked to be done on Saturdays. So people generally don't work on Saturdays. So the 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. I feel is unnecessary. It's a long day for the poll workers. And both my staff members get paid overtime for the entire 15 hours. So it's an expensive proposition. With early voting, I'm not so sure that we need to have the extended hours from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The state elections, that is mandated by the state. That cannot change. What we're talking about here would be only for town elections. So I'd like to propose that town elections be from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is what Raynham does. And they're potentially Tuesday, the 24th, will also be from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., even though it's a Tuesday. So what I'm getting at is that other towns do have shortened hours for their local elections.
Is anyone want to discuss it or ask Tina questions about this?
So I will. I've been trying to look into this and figure out where our charter stands in regards to Mass General Law and what they kind of brought in. So it appears that towns there's different time periods for voting that are required by the state, and then there are some that do allow it to be changed by the towns themselves. and that is also specific on whether or not you're a city or a town. So as far as I can tell, you are allowed to move the election times to 10, but they must end at 8. And but when anything that has a state election on the ballot or federal, that has to be 7A to 8P. So we do have, I believe, that Saturday date specifically in the charter itself. So changing the weekend may actually require a charter change.
I don't think there's anything specific about Saturdays in the charter. It just says that the local election is the last Saturday after the last Monday, or some bizarre thing that always ends up being spring break.
Mm-hmm. Had this up somewhere. But it does provide a requirement for the date in the charter, correct?
For the town.
Yes, which I would love for you guys to get together with Rainham and change that to a non-spring break Saturday, maybe the first Saturday in May. Then you don't have to worry about spring break. You don't have to worry about Mother's Day. You know, that's something you guys need to work with the selectmen in Rainham, but that election has to coordinate with Rainham. But any other ones, like the one we have coming up on the 21st, we could have picked any date we wished.
I like that idea, Tina, about the first Saturday in May, and, you know, we could talk to them.
Right,
But
but I
it's a
mean,
charter
this-
change, right? So it would have to be voted by the voters.
I don't know if it's a charter change. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure where it is, the coordination of Rainham with us for that election.
So right now, we're talking about the annual town election, that's the only thing you're
Or,
talking
or
about?
No.
any town election, special or
town.
otherwise,
We-
like the one coming on June 21st.
All right, so the way I look at it, Mark, do you have something to say?
No, go ahead, Mary, and then I'll go after you.
People do work on Saturdays. There's the stores, retail, restaurants, hotels. A lot of people work. So to me, I think we should just keep it the same. We don't.
But what
confuse
about
people.
early voting?
I think, what do you mean by early voting?
We have like 300 people who've already asked for ballots for this election coming up.
But we have, what's that population, like 28,200 or something?
We have a little over 19, a little under 19,000 voters.
My opinion is that we should keep it straight across, so no one gets confused of the different hours, the different times, and it stays the same. I don't think paying overtime for the workers is that much. And no matter where you go on a Saturday, somebody's working. So people have to go and work early. People have to stay to work. People are working just because they're not working a white collar job. All the other places that we go to, they are working. And I think it should stay open for
But
every.
it seems like every Saturday that you guys pick is either spring break or people have left for vacation.
But right now, we're talking about changing the hours. So I'm gonna stay with what we're talking about, not Saturdays or whatever. We're not talking about the day, we're talking about the times. This is what Johnny brought forth, the time. So I'm just discussing not changing the election hours. That's my opinion. I'm not talking about what days they are.
And Mary, I'm going to echo what you said. I think every opportunity that people can vote for the length of time. I'm not as concerned about the money. I think the last time we found out it was like $2,300 or something like that. I think in the town budget, the size that we have, it's not a lot of money. And I don't think it would be good. The constituents that I've talked to want to see it the same. There are people that work. I had 2 of them that called me and said, I work 9 to 5, just like any other day.
Right, so they can come after 5.
Tina, you gotta let Mark finish speaking.
Oh,
It's-
I'm sorry.
Come after 5. Yeah, but you know, they may work out. I'm not in favor of changing the hours. I haven't been, and the feedback I've gotten, I haven't had anyone call me up and say I want to change the hours.
How much
So
is, sorry, can I, how
Go
much
ahead.
is it, Tina, Mark, you said $2,300. Is that in line with what we're seeing?
So shortening 3 hours would mean less overtime for my staff. And when they do Saturday elections, I have to pay them overtime for 15 hours. So that would save 3 hours of overtime for the staff and then 3 hours per poll worker.
Madam Chair,
Go
I
ahead.
think this is a big election. This override is a big election, and
We're not changing the hours for this election.
Tina,
It's
I'm
already
gonna
on the
have to
warrant.
ask, Tina, I'm gonna have to ask you, just let, Mr. Lindy complete his sentences. Go ahead, Mark.
so we're not asking to change the hours for this particular election?
No, it's in the warrant. It's already 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Good. Well,
for this Saturday.
I'm just not in favor of changing the hours. I know you said to me about digging my heels, and it's not about me digging my heels in. It's about the residents of Bridgewater having every opportunity to vote for that amount of time. That's what elections have been my whole entire life, and I don't think it's a lot. What is the amount of money that we would save? The dollars, the actual dollars, approximately.
It's like $2,300.
Okay, well, I'm not in favor of that.
But we do have early voting.
But not everyone does early voting, Tina.
No, we got a huge
We're
this
just
weekend.
talking, we're talking about the hours, and a lot of residents. I mean, the queue thing was interesting, but you heard Mr. Chase, he couldn't get one person to use the queue. And some people do early voting, which is very good, but there's a ton that don't. So we have to give everyone a chance because everybody works on every day, even on Sundays. So, and they're used to it. I agree with Mr. Lindy. It's not enough money to make me change. And from the residents I hear from, they only think about the hours. And that's what it's always been. So I just don't think it's worth it. But that's my opinion. So is there anything else you want to say, anybody want to say before I close the discussion?
The only thing I do have a concern about is who actually controls this decision. I know Mass General Law does give it to the town clerks to make all the decisions on the election times, and we don't have anything in there except for elected officials. The regular town election of town officers shall be held annually on the Saturday preceding the last Monday in April. But I don't see anything specific in here that outside of let me find the section here.
To change it?
So I want to make sure if we start changing the time and make the times official instead of just going on past practice, that is actually something that we can do. And section 7-5 in Article 7 is application of state laws. I did read the state laws on this, and those were pretty clear as if there is nothing specific in the charter about the elections themselves. And the only thing we have is the April date that I can find, that everything needs to be in accordance with state law. So I'm not completely sure if we're able to do this.
We're the legislative body, so I think we can.
It says if the state law specifically said that if it was in the charter, then that would be a change. So like what Rainham does is a part of their, I would assume that their version of that.
We would be referring this to the town council.
Right.
And would look at it, but as far as I know, Mr. Loretti this goes through the attorney.
Yep.
And they look into it because it's, the chapter 60, Article 1, and we do change our laws because we're a governing, so we have a different town councils as we govern ourselves, and there's certain things, but tonight we're just referring this to the town council. You can bring that up. We can ask the attorney to look into it, or we can look into it before. So that's all we're going to be doing. We can refer to the council saying, yeah, we think we should change it, or we shouldn't change it, or we should dig into it to make sure that we legally can. So it's either one.
Sure.
All right. Anybody else want to say anything? All right, so I'll close the discussion for now. Thank you, Tina, for coming up, and I believe it's going to be on the minute on the agenda for next June 3rd, because I think it's going to get in on time. But that will be up to Debbie, and I'll check with her, and I'll let you know, okay? All right, so should we let me see here. So we have 5 items, one's down. So let's should we make a motion for What do you want to recommend? That we look into it further, or we recommended that we should change according to the proposed ordinance DY 25017? Does anyone want to make a motion?
I want to recommend that we keep it as is. The hours that are set forward for elections.
Okay. How about you, Sean?
I'm not even sure if the section referenced in the home charter is the correct one either.
I think I looked that one up.
Is it?
Yeah, because I looked them all up.
Okay.
But we can make a motion to refer to the town council for further discussion. Or for, but Mark's got a motion on the floor to.
Well, I'm fine with that. If we want to refer to the full council, I have no problem doing that. I'll withdraw the other one and make that recommendation.
Because I know, Sean, I looked all of them up, the ordinance, to make sure that it was correctly written, because we have one that isn't coming up, but this one was. So do you want to do a motion to refer to the town council to discuss it further, or?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm on board with that.
all right, so one of you have to Mark, why don't you make the motion? Do you want to make the motion?
Okay, I'll make the
So
motion.
you're withdrawing your other motion,
I
right?
withdrew the other one
Okay,
and I'll make a motion to refer it to the council for discussion purposes.
all right. And Sean, do you want to second that?
I'll second that.
All right. Okay, we have to do a roll call. Mark,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
and me, yes. All right, we'll discuss that further on. All right, so the next one we had is proposed ordinance D FY 25016 Bridgewater Town Charter, Article 3, Section 4.3, elected officials, powers of appointment. So before we discuss this, this is the one that's wrong. This is the one, because I looked them all up, and this is actually under Article 4, Section 4.3, Town Manager, Powers of Appointment. And then on, it says down below, B, multiple members, appointed organizations. That should be B, boards, committees, and agencies. So I guess we should make a recommendation that because we can't amend, we should make a recommendation that the town council amends the proposed ordinance because it's not listed correctly. And then we can discuss the ordinance itself. So does anyone want to?
Sorry, Mary, can you just repeat which part is not listed correctly?
Where it says proposed ordinance D FY 25016.
Yep.
It says Bridgewater Town Charter, Article 3.
Yep.
It should be Article 4.
Okay.
It says Section 4.3, which is right. Then it says elected officials, that should say town manager. Powers of appointments, correct. And then underneath it says order that the town charter, Article 3, it's got to be changed. Section 4.3 be amendment as noted below. And it says B, multiple member appointed organizations. It should be B, boards, committees, and agencies. So that needs to be amendment. You want to look it up to verify?
I have a question, Mary.
All right, go ahead, Mark.
It was originally introduced by Kevin. Does it not need to be a replacement counselor because he's no longer? Oh no, I'm sorry. Forget that.
No, I know where you're going. I know. I was looking at all that too.
No,
Yeah.
the other one. I'm on the wrong one. No, Kevin is
Yeah.
still on the council. So
I know the one you're talking about. That
Yeah.
Chase is still on one. Yes. Yeah. So Sean, are you looking, because you're looking up what, the charters?
Yeah, I got the home rule charter up.
So if you look at Article 4, you'll see it.
Okay.
You got it? You got it? And do you see where it says that? They kind of messed it up. 3 is not, has anything to do with this.
So it's Article 4.
Article 4, and it's not elected officials, it's town manager. And it's not multiple members appointed organizations, it's board committees and agencies. So that has to be amended. But we can't amend, but we can refer it to the town council that be amended.
Yeah, I would, oh, do we have further discussion on the
We will, yeah, we'll have further,
content? Okay.
yep.
No,
So, I mean, I guess we can, because we can't amend, but we can recommend that they amend it. So can I have a recommendation, a motion to recommend that we amend the things that we just discussed?
I have one more thing I'd like to just bring up in discussion.
I'm gonna discuss the whole thing.
Okay.
I'm just talking about that amendment.
Okay. Yep. Oh, sure. Yep. I'll second
I'm
that.
I'm separating, okay.
Sure.
Mark,
Yep. I'll second that.
could I have
Or
a
are
second?
you making it, or I'll second it.
I'll make
Okay.
it.
Yeah, okay.
All right, and a roll call. Sean,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes,
and Mary, yes. Okay, so now we can go into the actual thing where it says the manager shall appoint all boards, committees, and agencies. And this is where Kevin wants to change it. It says, except ad hoc committees established by a majority vote of the town council to assist the town council in carrying out the council's responsibilities. So it's that said amendment should only become effective in approval of the town council. and
that
the state.
was, I think that was put in place because of the town manager ad hoc committee where the town manager appointed the members, and I think they were changing that so the town council president would appoint ad
Yeah,
hoc
I
members. I
agree
think
with
that's my recollection of why it was proposed.
and this would have to go to the state for approval.
It goes to the state and then it comes back to the voters.
Yeah. So, we either keep it with the town manager does the ad hoc committees, or we do. Do you have something to say, Sean?
My only comment was it's established by a majority vote, and I was looking to consider a 2/3 vote, just to ensure that the entire town council is on board with it, with the members on that committee. I wasn't around for the last ad hoc committee, but you guys were, so I would cede to your experience on that.
I think that's a great idea, Sean.
So is that
That was-
in here?
It says established by a majority vote of the town council to assist the town councilor.
So you wanted to say by a 2/3 vote.
Yeah, so a simple majority of 5 can't appoint
Yep.
an ad hoc committee.
All right, so the number in terms of office of the committee shall establish. I don't, as otherwise, what part is that in there?
The bold part?
Oh, okay, okay, established by majority. Yeah, I was thinking you wanted to do another part. Okay, so you want ad hoc committees established by 2/3?
Yes.
Is that 2/3?
And I'll second it.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. The more voices we have, the better off I think we are. All right, so I'll say a roll call. Sean? We're gonna,
Yes.
so it's a motion to
Do you
change
have a
it
motion change? A
from a
motion to amend it?
majority. To change from a majority vote to 2/3 vote of the town council. Is that
Yep,
what
I'll
we're
make
doing?
that. Yep, I'll make that
Okay.
motion.
And I'll second.
All right, so roll call. Mark,
Yes,
Sean,
Yes.
and Mary, yes. All right. So now we're on to, oh, we didn't go back to number 1, did we? That's
Nope.
all right. We'll keep number 1 for we'll just keep going. We're gonna get to them all anyways. Well, those are the 2 hero acts. So maybe we'll do number 1 next. We'll go back to number 1.
sure.
All right, so this is sponsored by me and Mark. So it's proposed ordinance D FY 25010, proposed amendment to chapter 157, article 2, section 1. So what we'll do is I'm going to go down to the bottom. It's going to, on number 4 at the bottom, it says the flag of the United States and POW MIA flag. That's where we're amending it. And we're going to amend it a little bit further in. During any period of display, a flag approved for public display in the manner permitted hereby shall be flown beneath the flag of the United States and the POW MIA flag, which shall both be continuously flown, according to the United States Code 4 USC Section 7. So Mark, since you're one of the co-sponsors, do you want to speak first?
No, I'm happy with what we have. It was sitting, I believe it was in committee for a while, and I think it's time to come out and take a vote. Recommend it to the full council.
Sean, do you have anything to say about this one?
The intent and all that I agree with. My only thing was in the beginning where it says whereas in accordance with the federal public law, that specific law is in reference to federal buildings. It doesn't really touch municipalities, so I didn't know if that needed to be changed to in consideration with or in the spirit of, but the entire concept and what it's looking to do, I do agree with.
Yeah, we spoke about that. I might add that. That's true, because we did speak about how the states usually follow the federal when it comes to flags. So it's kind of, I mean, we spoke a lot about that, but we could put in the spirit of whereas according, where would you like that to be put? Whereas in accordance,
I would probably go
whereas in accordance with the spirit of the federal public law.
Maybe in harmony with the federal public law.
it could be consistent was pretty neutral term, or the spirit of there. It just depends on like kind of, there isn't a lot of legal issue with either of those. That just depends on how you guys want to go with it.
But where do you want in the spirit of? Because I was thinking right at the beginning, whereas in accordance.
Yeah, whereas in the spirit of the federal public law, that works.
Okay. All right. So let's do, maybe we'll do that separate too. So motion to make amend to the what we just discussed. So someone wants to
Motion.
make. Okay,
Second.
Mark. Yeah, all right, and roll call. Sean,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and Mary. So, all right, so now we'll just discuss whether we should, any more discussion on this to put forward to the town council. I mean, I had done it because there's still 82,000 service members who remain unaccounted for. And when I looked into the POW and my flag, the way I looked at it is World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War were all wars that had the draft. So the draft, when I look at the draft doesn't care what language you speak, what nationality you are, what the color of your skin is, if you're straight, gay, or even if you're a teenager, it targets everyone. So this one, because I know like when they were speaking about the pride flag and that, and they were saying that their members were in there too. It's like, yes, this represents everyone, everyone. It's 82,000 service members that are still missing. So that's why, to me, it represents everyone because everyone's drafted. So it doesn't leave anybody out. So that's what was my concern about having it flown, you know, because we don't want to forget those servicemen because they were drafted. They had no choice. And even the ones, if they have a choice and they go into the war, but we can't forget them. And we hadn't flown it in such a long time. So I agree with the veterans agent when he said it's important that we do this, not only for the families, but the servicemen and the servicemen who were left behind and women. So that was my reasoning for it. So if you guys want to talk about it more, or do you want to make a motion to recommend sending it to the town council?
I'll make a motion to recommend it favorably to the town council.
Seconded.
All right, roll call, Mark,
Yes,
Sean,
Yes.
and myself, Mary. All right. All right, so then we have two other ones that are from the HERO Act. Number 4 and number 5. So we'll start with number 4. They're both, we're gonna have to change, make amendment. Okay, so we'll start with ordinance D FY 25-019, adoption of clause 22I of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5 of the HERO Act. So this is to give veterans who are already eligible under clause 22, 22A or 22B, 22C or 22E or 22F, that they give them a cost of living. So does anyone want to ask questions to start with that? I can bring that up. I think the first thing we have to do is make amendment change, because Council Chase is no longer on the council.
so there are two existing counselors on it. All we gotta do is take them off, right?
Yeah,
Just leave the two counselors that are there, because they're still on the
yeah,
council.
yeah. It's just like when, we were at the council, we had to take off, we had to change it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So,
do you want a motion for that, Mary?
yeah, let's do a motion to recommend amendment removing Fred Chase, council.
Okay, so I'll make that motion.
Seconded.
All right, roll call, Sean,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes,
and Mary, yes. All right. So when let me see, when I was looking up this one, Governor Healy on August 8th, 2024, signed into law an act honoring, empowering, and recognizing our servicemen and veterans, the HERO Act. And I quote that from the Executive Office of the Veterans Services. So anybody want to bring up anything on this?
no,
No, I don't really have anything for this.
Okay, it is this, it brings them up, let me see. Okay, yeah, I wrote it down. So for this one, the veterans will be eligible under clause 22. And so if they're getting 400 exempt in taxes right now, with the cost and living increase by 5%, the increase, if it was 400, would go up to 420. So it's not a big jump.
no.
All right, so can I have a motion to recommend to send this to
Motion.
council?
Second,
All right, and roll call, Sean,
Yes.
Mark,
yes,
and me, Mary, I recommend too. All right, so our last one is under the HERO Act again, and this was only sponsored by Johnny Loretti. It's General Ordinance D FY 25-020, adoption of clause 22J of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 5 of the HERO Act. This one's a little bit more. So if you look on the very bottom of the first page, it's veterans that with a 10 to 90% disability rate will receive an exemption increase, like if they had 400 up to 600. And if a veteran with 100% disability rating shall receive an exemption increase from, if he got 1,000 right now, 1,500. This exemption can go up to 100%. The council, Johnny Loretti, put it at 50%. Because they both have to, I believe they both have to go to the finance and budget, because the council told us, the other one did, that it's not going to take an effect because it would have to be in before the end of July or the 1st of July. So I don't think these will take effect until a year. But does anyone have any conversations about this one?
I'll move to recommend it favorably to the full council.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
All right. Voice roll call, Mark,
Yes,
Sean,
Yes.
and Mary, yes. So I think that's all of them, right?
all of them.
Yeah, I just got a little confused. We got it out of order. All right, so we have public comments. Was anyone in the public would like to make a comment? Does anyone see any?
No.
All right, I do have one thing that I'd like to ask. Do you guys want to continue on Zoom? If we can do it in a meeting? Do you want to do that? Because from one thing I had from, I don't know if it's extended beyond March 31st. Zooming, but I think we could be up to us if we could meet in, what, 2:01, so it would still be recorded. Is
Yeah.
it
I wouldn't
hybrid?
mind doing I wouldn't mind doing some. My outside of like scheduling for me, being able to do quick research from my computer for some of the stuff that we do get into is beneficial. So
Okay. So we'll keep it for
I'm not
now?
I'm not a no, I'm not a no, or I'm not a complete yes on either end. It's just it depends on what it is. If it's kind of like heavy on depending on what comes to us, it may be more useful to be able to make sure we're making the right decisions. But I'm not opposed to meeting in person either.
I'm good either way. I'm kind of tired of Zoom. I like in person, but I don't have a strong feeling either way.
Okay, well, I'll leave it like that and we'll see how it goes, especially like we have a lot of heavy stuff coming up with the overrides and stuff like that. We'll see how it goes. And then maybe during the summer, we'll see, okay, well, let's start meeting in person. So we'll see how it goes.
There were a lot of things that the charter committee went to the rules and procedures that I don't think ever came out and saw the light of day. So I want to figure out what those things were, get some research maybe through Deb and just find out anything that's bogged down that hasn't been dealt with or acted on, because that committee worked extensively for 2 years. Near the end of their tenure, they met like weekly. And
Okay.
we're going to be getting ready again for another charter review committee. I think 2026 is the year that has to be, it's the 5 years are up. So we might as well get anything out of the way that was sitting there so we can get whatever.
I'll ask Mark. I asked Debbie for every single thing, whether it was on hold or what, any label that it had on it to bring it forth. But I will go into town hall tomorrow and ask her, to show me where they are, if there's anything, and how I can find them. Because I did ask twice.
Okay. Okay.
Because I
I
knew one
do,
was,
Mark. I do have some information on stuff that was put forward, so we can look. I can look at getting that out as
Okay.
well, just as a
Sound-
review, because it
sound-
seems like there was actually quite a bit.
Yeah.
So
so it was in rules and procedures.
it was stuff that went through rules and procedures. Yeah.
It went
mean,
there.
I
but
don't,
it wasn't acted on.
not that it's. I don't think that it's. It may have been acted on, but there was. I don't know what's been stuck here. I shouldn't say that. I'm not sure if there's anything floating around for us to act on. So
Because I did ask, so if there is, I'm not gonna be too
Okay.
happy about it, but I will go in and talk to Debbie directly about finding what is, because I asked her, no matter what the last chair labeled it as, because I had to get one in that I knew that was in there, and he had put that on hold, and I'm like, I don't care what it is, we should have
Okay.
it.
I'll
We
take a
should-
look at what I have for a list of just charter issues and topics and see what was voted on and what wasn't voted on over the last year or so. See what's there. But yeah, we're
Okay,
coming up like you said, Mark, we're coming up on it. I want to ensure that if we're gonna, we're gonna have a committee to do that again, we want to make sure that we are actually taking into account things the committee's putting forward, and our charter needs some adjustments. So I think it would be a good spot to clean up things before we get there.
Sounds good.
yeah. I would like, speaking of this problem, I would like that, to make a change that the committees have to turn what that was sent to them within the month. That's it. If you can't decide within a month what to do with what's in front of you, send it back to the council. I think the charter change needs to be that, because right now it's up to the chair. So because I looked into it, because mine has been stuck in here, the POW flag, since 10/15/2024.
Yep.
That's a long time.
Yep.
So I think we need to change it that no committee should have any item more than a month. And you just send it back to the council and say, we don't know what to do with it, we have no advice. But it shouldn't stay. I agree with you guys. So it's not because I didn't look, I had no idea.
Yep.
I asked. So I think, we should write a proposal for that. But I thank you guys for helping. I did the best I could for my first chair.
You did fine.
You did good.
So I'll make the
Thank
motion
you.
to adjourn our meeting.
Seconded.
All right, roll call. Mark,
Yes.
Sean,
Yes.
and Mary, I say yes. And thank you, Tina, for coming. And we hope we see you at the town council. All right, so who's shutting this off? You, Sean?
I got it.
All
Thank
right.
you.